Hello there. It's good to have you with me again. We are continuing our thinking about Nabal and Abigail in 1 Samuel 25. After Nabal had refused to help David and feed his men, even though he was a very rich man and he could have done it easily, David was getting ready to take by force what he wasn't going to be given graciously by Nabal. And one of the young men went to Abigail and said to her that David had sent messengers to Nabal and Nabal had refused them. He had been so ill-natured and sent them away with a flea in their ear. And yet, when David's men were around, everything was secure. The sheep were not lost. Everyone was protected when David's men were around. And that's a remarkable thing, really, because David was a leader of 600 men who were all outlaws and who must at times have been tired and hungry and thirsty. But they never took by force food and sustenance. And they were trustworthy and they had behaved honourably to Nabal. But this young man who came to Abigail said, "Now therefore know this and consider what you should do." That's verse 17 of 1 Samuel 25. "For evil is determined against our master and against all his house, and he is so ill-natured that one cannot speak to him." This was Nabal. Nabal was ill-natured. He was bad-tempered. He was cross, and he was cross a lot of the time. He must have been very difficult to live with. He was not a nice man, Nabal. He had no control over his temper, and he was just, what did it say? Churlish and ill-behaved. He was rude to everybody, short-tempered, rude, unpleasant. And that, dear friends, should never, ever, ever be a characteristic of one of the children of God. We should not be ill-natured, bad-tempered. We should be generous, kind, welcoming, appreciative of what others do for us, rather than irritated by their requests. You know, it's not easy not to get cross if something happens unexpectedly, somebody rings, asks for help unexpectedly, and we're busy doing something else. It's very easy to be irritated by the interruption. None of us are perfect, but Nabal, I'm afraid, had made an art of his bad behaviour and his rudeness and his ill temper, and he was going to risk the lives of all his family. One of the fruit of the Spirit, part of the fruit of the Spirit is self-control. And we need to control self. We need to not give in to ill temper and rudeness. And I do know that it is the people we live with most of the time, the people who are around and about us all the time, who we get shortest with, because we know each other so well. And we need to, at times, take stock and make sure that we treat those closest to us, those we spend most of the time with, as civilly and as kindly and as politely as we would anybody else who visited our home. We shouldn't behave differently towards those who we're with all the time. We should be showing love and graciousness and learn from Nabal's mistake. Nabal was not thankful, not appreciative of the protection that David and his men had given him. He was not generous with his goods, even though he was a very rich man. He was not kind to those who worked with him. He was not a nice man. And whatever we do, we must be representatives of the kingdom, of the most generous master that we serve, who is loving and kind and understanding and appreciative of all who serve him. So that's my thought for the day. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.